Welcome back, superstar. In this video, I'm going to talk about the best big back-end business model for coaches. First, I want to dive into a little bit of why coaches need a big back-end business model. Then I'll share a little bit about my story and how I figured this out. And then finally, I'll share with you not only the best business model, but a few elements of it that you'll want to consider that will make it really sing. I work with a lot of coaches, and I am a coach myself. So I know a lot about where coaching can become maybe frustrating or discouraging. And one of the biggest things that I faced early on in my coaching career was constantly feeling like I had to land more business because, number one, a lot of times clients would complete their programs. I was selling a lot of 12-session packages and 3-month coaching programs and 6-month or 1 month, selling by the session. It got to a point where, I'd make a sale and I'd feel really good. And then, that client, the better they did, the closer they got to the end, and then it would be over. And I either had to resell them again or let them go, which was kind of painful. And so what I discovered is that I really wanted to find a model that was more leveraged and scalable. Leveraged meaning that it wasn't just me delivering one-on-one, so that all the responsibility was on me, and scalable in that it wasn't limited so much by my time and my energy and my availability. Because, when I was doing that kind of coaching program, like most people, or that coaching model, I was limited because if I wanted to make more money, I had to work more hours. It got to the point where I was really burnt out. I was tired. I was even resenting my clients, mostly because I was feeling like I was working too much and not making enough money. And so the solution came to me when I actually attended another coach's program. I participated in a coach's program and I saw that he was doing everything in a group format. Not only was the group format obviously way more profitable, it was also more energy rich. I realized that he didn't have to do all the work because he brought together these amazing people and we started to help each other. And in fact, there were some breakthroughs that one of my colleagues in the program had that I delivered to them because I'm a pretty good coach. So my coaching leader, the guy that founded the program, he got the benefit of my participation in his program in that I was helping one of his other clients. So that's the beauty of a group coaching / mastermind model. And that's what I'm advocating here. That's what I'm suggesting you consider as a coaching business model that will give you both leverage and the opportunity to scale and make more money without actually working any more time, maybe even working in less time. So here's what you got to know though. It's not just like, boom, I'm going to do a group coaching program. Now everybody's going to be in my group and it's going to be fabulous. Once you go from a one-on-one model to a group model, there's not only more money and more time available and more benefits, there's also more complexity, because just as easily as I helped that client in my coach's program, I might have made life miserable for that client. And so that's a layer of complexity, is the relationship now isn't just one-on-one. The relationship now is in this community. And so what that requires is, number one, being really mindful and intentional about every single client you bring in. You can't have a successful group coaching mastermind program with difficult clients or with people that don't align with your values or people who are disruptive or problematic. Now, that doesn't mean you can't help people through some of these issues, but in my opinion, it's a lot easier to start with really good people and go from there. Now, before I continue and tell you more about what you need to do in order to create a great group coaching mastermind program, I want to invite you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and maybe even throw down a comment below. Now that we've talked about the importance of bringing the right people into a group program, we also want to talk about one of the big things that happens is that when you start leading instead of one-on-one, when you start leading a collective, you need to step up into greater leadership. Now that can seem pretty easy or pretty obvious, but I'll tell you that for me, that was the hardest part of moving to this model, is me having to lead a group of people and create standards, hold boundaries, create rules, call people to accountability if they didn't follow the guidelines, let people go if they weren't a right fit, even if their program hadn't completed. There's a lot of leadership involved. And that can be both difficult and challenging, and also extremely fulfilling and rewarding. Another thing that's really important when you have a group program is retention, and how you're going to handle when people graduate or complete the program and either leave, or how to encourage them and invite them to stay. When I started my group coaching program, it was actually pretty successful fairly quickly by most standards. To give you a quick recap, I enrolled my first 4 people in the first couple of months, and then I enrolled another 6 people over the next 2 or 3 months. So within about 5 months, I had a total of 9 or 10 people in my program, which meant that I was making more money on a consistent, regular basis because I was charging monthly. It was an annual commitment, paid monthly. I was making more than I'd ever made on a consistent basis, but I was also having to field a lot of issues that I'd never had to field before. First of all, issues among different people. And what ends up happening, maybe you've experienced this, is when the going gets tough, clients try to quit. Whether it was because of me or my coaching, or whether it was because they were having issues with each other, it didn't matter. One of the things that happens right away in groups often is people get triggered because group dynamics bring up family dynamics, bring up high school dynamics, bring up grammar school dynamics. There's like the bullies and the not bullies, and there's just a lot of stuff that being in community brings up with people. And so in terms of retention, you'll want to help people understand that that stuff is going to come up, and to make sure that you have a really good contract, a really good agreement, not just because it serves you, although it does serve you, but also because it serves them and helps them stay in the game and face the challenges that they'd otherwise hightail it out of there because of. So that retention has to become a big focus, and it has to become a focus from the very beginning of the relationship, when you set the expectation that this is a 1-year long or more program. And that's my recommendation. A big back end should be at least 1 year long, if not more. And so your goal becomes, instead of the way it probably was before, the way mine was before, focusing on enrolling new clients, marketing and selling, your focus really shifts to retention, leadership, and service of this community. And then finally, one of the most important parts, and probably one of the hardest as well, is that you're going to get triggered. Just like everyone in your group is going to get triggered by these family dynamics, these school dynamics, you're going to get triggered too. There are going to be times when you're just like, forget this. I don't want to do this anymore. It isn't worth it. I hate it, yada, yada. This is pretty common. And so this is another part where, like, the flip sides of the coins. It's both really challenging and also really fulfilling when you do the work and you move through some of these old wounds and patterns. So I've just made my case for what I consider to be the very best business model for coaches, or at least coaches like me, who love people, who love being in community, who want to grow and become more powerful leaders. And if you're looking to launch something like that and you might want to get my help in doing it, let's connect. We can connect if you go to superstaractivator.com/go.